Now the dust has settled. This documentary was released on January the 18th, 2020. It has been over a year since the final revisions were made. Our documentary ended with Doomcock's excellent narration saying that whether you loved it or hated it, the Disney sequel trilogy has ended, and many fans wonder where Star Wars will go from here. Only time will tell, but we hope it will return to the Star Wars that we loved in the past. Disney's CEO Bob Iger dropped a bombshell saying that Star Wars was suffering from fatigue, and that the Star Wars universe was going to be put on hold at the conclusion of the Skywalker saga. Furthermore, Iger said that he takes the blame for the timing of the movie's releases. This was quite a contrast from the initial hype and excitement from just a few years prior, when Disney first purchased Lucasfilm, when they announced their initial plans to release one Star Wars movie every year. Now, because of the lack of fan response and poor reception, those initial plans seem to have been shelved. On February the 4th, 2020, during the Walt Disney Company's quarterly shareholders meeting, Bob Iger explained what he meant by the hiatus. While a lot of the investors' meeting was spent touting the success of Disney Plus as a whole, and The Mandalorian specifically, Iger went on to say that The Mandalorian and other Star Wars projects currently planned for Disney Plus are part of the reason we won't see a big screen Star Wars film for a while. Iger concluded with, "The priority for the franchise in the next few years is television." Given the conditions at the moment, it's easy to understand why the studio would put all their eggs in one basket. After the conclusion of the Skywalker saga, the main Star Wars draw became The Mandalorian. It debuted on November the 12th, 2019, 1 month prior to the theatrical release of The Rise of Skywalker. Although warmly received during its first season, The Mandalorian was certainly not without criticism, and some fans felt so sickened by the conclusion of the Skywalker saga, however, that they couldn't bear to watch.
Don't you agree?
On February the 21st, 2020, Disney released the first episode of the animated hit, The Clone Wars Season 7. Nearly 6 years had passed since the last episode to The Clone Wars. Fans were excited to see the return of some of their favourite animated characters such as Ahsoka Tano, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. More Star Wars news would be on the horizon. Lucasfilm would drop a Star Wars bomb on the fandom at the Disney Investor Days during December of 2020. There were many surprises with a large amount of projects slated. There were some projects so secretive that they would not be announced until a later date. Some of the biggest announcements from the Investors' Day were Mandalorian spin-offs, Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka, Star Wars The Bad Batch, Andor, The Acolyte, and movies Rogue Squadron to be directed by Patty Jenkins and an untitled Star Wars movie to be directed by Taika Waititi. Meanwhile, during its second season, The Mandalorian was drawing a lot of attention. Many fans returned, re-experiencing their love of Star Wars, as Season 2 of The Mandalorian continued to follow the duo of Din Djarin and the Child across the galaxy on their epic adventure. There would be many surprises during this season, and some things that fans would take to the internet to discuss included the return of Boba Fett to the Star Wars universe. Viewers discovered the Child's name, Grogu, as well as much of his backstory. Also, the character of Bo-Katan, reprised by Katie Sackhoff, would make her Star Wars live-action debut in The Mandalorian Chapter 11's The Heiress. One thing that had Star Wars fans celebrating was the live-action debut of Ahsoka, portrayed by Rosario Dawson in The Mandalorian's 13th chapter, The Jedi. Fans united in their excitement on seeing one of their favourite animated characters brought to live action, thanks to Disney+. But as The Mandalorian was generating excitement, another major event would take place, with the launching of Star Wars The High Republic, described as a publishing initiative, encompassing books and comics. According to a press release, this period on the Star Wars timeline will not overlap any of the filmed features or series currently planned for production, giving creators and partners a vast amount of room to tell Star Wars stories with new adventures and original characters. Feelings were mixed across the board for the High Republic. Some fans were excited about having new material to read and to be able to explore a new era of Star Wars history, while others have called for a fan boycott due to a High Republic author's controversial statements in the news and on social media, such as when Justina Ireland, author of the High Republic era Star Wars A Test of Courage, posted on Twitter, "I guess mediocre white men are still going to be on here bragging about their mediocrity as though it's a hilarious anecdote instead of pure assholery. So thanks for establishing that baseline early 2021. Then, as first reported by Disney Star Wars Has Done, Ireland began telling Star Wars fans not to purchase the High Republic, especially if fans disagreed with her political views. Over the past year, rumours have circulated that there are now two different camps at Lucasfilm. One, the Kathleen Kennedy regime, with her projects, and another, under the direction of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. These rumours over time turned into a full-blown fan theory, where the Favreau and Filoni camp will be bringing in a Star Wars multiverse that was first brought to Star Wars in the final season of Dave Filoni's Star Wars Rebels, with a highly regarded episode, A World Between Worlds. The majority of fans that dislike the Disney sequel movies are calling for the decanonization of that trilogy, or for the multiverse to take place, so that the story arc of The Mandalorian does not lead to Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens. Time will tell. The biggest news of all that would provide hope and a great degree of unity for the fandom was when Mark Hamill's character Luke Skywalker showed up in The Mandalorian Season 2 finale on December the 18th in the episode titled The Rescue.
There was a huge moment. Luke Skywalker, one of the most iconic heroes in history, Mark Hamill making a comeback in the season finale there. What went into that decision? There was a risk in doing that, and how did you keep that under wraps?
It was very tricky.
Oh my gosh!
Bro.
Oh my goodness.
It's in black and white, you can't tell. Oh!
It's an X-Wing. Who could be an X-Wing? I just thought about it. Oh my god, could it be Luke?
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
I'm scared. Yes! No way! Yes!
And it definitely is Luke.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is this happening? Is this happening? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Is this happening? Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Luke Skywalker!
Who is it? It's Luke! Oh my god, I'm gonna... please! It's just so cool. Wow.
It's not what happened. Don't tell me it's what happened.
It's Luke, my god!
It is!
Fans rejoiced across the world, and the excitement to see the return of the greatest Star Wars hero of all time could not be denied. Fans understood what was at stake. Luke wasn't just rescuing Mando, Grogu, Bo-Katan and the entire cast of The Mandalorian. In actuality, it was bigger than even that. Finally, Star Wars fans were getting their hero back. 37 long years had passed since fans were able to experience their hero in all his glory. Favreau and Filoni gave Star Wars fans one of their greatest gifts. As fans had emotional reactions for several days after the episode launch, Mark Hamill himself reacted in humble amazement by sending a heartfelt Twitter message to his fans. Posting on December the 30th, Hamill said, "Sometimes the greatest gifts are the most unexpected and something you never realized you wanted until it was given." As fans continued to celebrate the return of Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill would reach out to the fandom again when he tweeted, #No words. Seeing fans' reactions to Luke's return is something I will cherish forever. Their anticipation seeing the X-Wing, Luke's Episode 6 robes, his lightsaber, gloved hand, an ungloved hand, a force choke, and R2 was overwhelming and very moving to me. I'm a fan myself, so I knew true fans would love it. But to see them thrilled beyond belief with the exuberance of children, whipping it up, screaming in ecstasy, the tears of sheer joy. It's a roller coaster of emotions I'll never forget. Unfortunately, a Lucasfilm executive would once again remind everyone that fans aren't past the hurt yet. When Star Wars Theory, the largest Star Wars content creator on YouTube, posted his emotional live reaction to the return of Skywalker, Lucasfilm's Pablo Hidalgo took to Twitter to chastise and humiliate him, saying, "Emotions aren't for sharing." Star Wars Theory himself and many other Star Wars fans united behind the content creator. Our own channel, Echo Base Network, produced a video defending Star Wars Theory. The popular YouTuber would join us 2 weeks later on our weekly Saturday night live streams, along with an all-star panel of high-profile YouTube personalities. Sharing Star Wars stories, thoughts and opinions, and even agreeing to disagree, the panel had fun, and a reaction from the viewers was overwhelmingly positive. The panel reunited the next day to further their Star Wars discussion, and in the process raised over $37,000 in charity to support St. Jude's Hospital for Children's Cancer Research. Since the Disney purchase of Lucasfilm, things have been up and down. Occasionally there have been some very good moments, but Star Wars has also hit multiple lows. It is now time that the fans must unite, remind Disney that we love Star Wars, and most importantly, to make sure that they understand why.
Feel the bass.